Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I'm in full Frankenfurter drag since 7 a.m.
I work at Camp Brave Trails. Of course I have ducks in my pocket.
Anyone want to see kids put these weirdos in their place? Hello and welcome to another video. Let's take a glimpse of the future, shall we? Quick, hit that like button.
So my name is Luke Wilman, and I'm applying to be a finalist for the $15,000 Democrats for America Association Scholarship. So, yes, it's a big scholarship. So these are my grandparents, Dawn and Anita, and since they were 18, they got married, and they've always been political activists. And they truly inspired me to be more of a political person, and to the extent that all three of us actually got to work on the Kamala Harris campaign this year. Grandma,
you know what's smoking.
I need this scholarship. Just pretend like you did. Grandma.
Oh my God.
Wait, I'll just edit it later.
Oh, mercy.
And
You can tell us.
well, they'll never know. Okay, I'll say it again. My grandparents and I had the opportunity to work on the Kamala Harris campaign this year and work closely with the vice presidential.
Fine, dog.
You can't. And this is $15,000 unless you were to pay this $15,000.
Yes, we did.
Okay, Don, we gotta compose ourselves.
All right.
I'll say it again.
Maybe.
You don't make it any better.
That's the goofiest thing I've heard.
Okay. My grandparents and I were able to work on the Kamala Harris campaign this year, and we were unfortunately on the losing side of the election, but they still are determined to fight, and they're already leading the next charge for the 2028 presidential election, and they're working closely with the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be. You can't be laughing for this.
He's making me laugh.
His grandparents are the coolest, that's for sure.
Hey, hey neighbor, it's me, I'm here, and I'm genderqueer. I love you unconditionally. It's Trans Day of Visibility, and I'm so proud of you. I am, and you're gorgeous. It's right. It's my life. And I want you so crown. Tom Petty has it right. Won't back down. Hey, baby. And the lazy lambs. Hey, baby. Stand my ground.
I kid you not, I was shaking with discomfort at this one.
What's a practical solution for peace today?
One and only solution is to end Israel.
So you would not be okay with a two-state solution?
Of course not. After all this sacrifice and violence. No, of course not. It's our homeland. This is our home.
Yeah, they are kind and helpless.
I got into grad school. I will not be attending starting this fall though, and I will no longer be attending the university that I originally applied for. I applied for one school. I kind of had my heart set on it. That's what I wanted to do. I'm not going to name the institution, but given recent events, I am not going to give my money, go into debt for support institutions that don't support their students and their right to protest and, speak out for their communities. That's just not where I'm at. Students deserve to be protected. I'm not worried about if I were to be protected or not at said institution. I'm, privileged white woman. But I'm not going to put myself in a position, where I'm giving money or supporting institutions that don't support their students. I know that has nothing to do with the students that currently go there, a lot of the faculty. But, the people at the top are making those decisions, and I decided that I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to do a little bit more research going forward, making sure I'm applying to schools that align with my values, and then maybe start in a year, which is okay. I'm not really in a rush. So yeah, just figured I'd update you all on that.
So that's Tim Walz' daughter protesting an UnWoke grad school by rejecting the admission. What a blow on academia.
Practical note, Laura, you reminded me of this. I really think it's worthy of our consideration to not schedule our board meetings immediately after the election. Because we did this last year, and I remember we had the exact same conversation where we were all still kind of lethargic and wounded, and I don't think that makes us super productive. So I think if we shift that board meeting to the week before or, you know, another week after and give us more time, it would only be twice a year. I think it would be worth considering.
Not that I don't disagree, but you know, again, hopefully we're not predicting that we're going to be on the ballot every November.
Even if we're not, I think, like in this particular case, a presidential election can also be stressful. So I don't think it's, you know, just our issue. I know it's been hard. My kids asked even, this is a whole different train of, but they said, Mom, why we should have gone to school Monday and had off Tuesday, Wednesday. Because from what I heard, things kind of got ugly at some of the schools in regards to the election results. So same story of, it doesn't matter if it's the levy or not, but are there ways we can schedule better around major events?
That resonates. I think that makes sense.
You mean they were having a hard time at school after the election?
I heard at the middle school that the staff had to step in and tell the kids to knock off the conversations because they were aggressive or heated. Sorara reportedly was chanting Trump, Trump, Trump in the middle of class. I mean, there were things that were out of control, and I understand why it happened. I'm not holding the teachers accountable in any way. I'm just saying maybe we all need space on those kinds of issues.
She's triggered because middle schoolers were celebrating the president.
We see you. Help is going to be on the way for you and your child. The children and the protesters who believe that they were born wrong or that children can be born wrong. I just want to say that I love you. I love you. I know how difficult it is to experience the pain of hating your sex, of hating your body, of wanting to die, wanting to take your own life, of going through the process of transition. They are not alone in their pain. They have been lied to about who they are, what it really means to be happy, to be healthy or whole. But I will tell you all this. You all are beautiful just the way that you were made. With all of your unique qualities, everything that makes you different is your strength. You deserve to be loved just as you are, to grow up in a healthy body. And one day you will find your identity outside of this. There are only two genders, but there are infinite ways to love yourself, to love our children within the bounds of reality. Our children deserve better, and they need our help right now, in this moment. We must not stop fighting for them until the very end.
If you listen closely, you'd hear sarcastic ad-libs in the background. Those are trans activists that refuse to take Chloe Cole, a former trans person, seriously because she's now detransitioning.
Hello, everyone! My name is Mark, and my pronouns are he, they. I am the autistic punk. And I'm here to speak on behalf of all punks when we say we will not appreciate or tolerate bigotry in Nottingham. We will not tolerate fascism. We will not tolerate homophobia. And most certainly we will not tolerate Posey Parker. And I say on behalf of you all, I love you all so much.
This started with participation trophies. Prove me wrong.
I think that I would like validation for my gender identity. There are some pictures of me. My pronouns are it and they. My gender is none. I enjoy dressing in a more feminine, I guess, way. But I don't want to be associated with gender. I enjoy looking like a clown. I kind of view myself as a doll. I don't abide by gender. I'm built different.
Every day, there's a new streak of insanity on America's internet. I'm exhausted.
Has anyone figured out how to talk to Trump supporters? Because I genuinely cannot figure out how to just have a fucking conversation. Because, I mean, even if you just tell them, read a newspaper, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you no. I mean, what do you respond to that? If you don't even want to read the newspaper, then of course we can sit here and argue who's right and who's wrong. But we both know that one person actually has information and one doesn't, because you just admitted to me that you don't read the newspaper or the news or watch the news or whatever, get news from any source.
The View doesn't count as the news. Harry, Parker, and Dean do not count as sources. Hope this helps.
Hey, do you know what female rage is? Isn't that just when women get really angry? No, it's more like this.
I will always choose the bear. I will always choose the wolves. No matter what they do, they wouldn't blame my clothes. I would rather choose to die. Let my body decompose. 'Cause even when you're ash, they will never let you go. I will always choose the bear. I will always choose the wolves. No matter what they do, they wouldn't blame my clothes. I would.
Now you get it.
This is female rage, boys. Fear it. But seriously, how do you delete someone's post for them?
No, cause why the actual f am I supposed to care whether or not women are playing sports? Why do I care what kind of women are playing sports? Whether or not they're women who are trans, whether or not they're women who are transitioning, whether or not they're women who are intersex, whether or not they're women who are young, old. How many f do I give? Oh, the woman who happened to have made it through him by crawling through the muck to become her feminine self. She won? She won the sport thing? How dare I should be upset because she started at a different place. No, I shouldn't let her cross the finish line as a woman. God forbid she be herself when she wins. Why should I care? Who plays in women's sports? You don't watch women's sports. You don't watch women's sports. Why do you care who plays them? Get out of our locker rooms, get the out of women's health, get the out of our lives. Every single woman is a woman. All women are women. Regardless of genitalia, gender is a construct.
I think she forgot to take her meds that morning.
What was the inspiration behind the look today?
Straight. I wanted to look straight.
Don't know if you quite succeeded with that.
Why? You know what's funny is I was having this moment where I was like, oh, I look like a little dude. And what's cool about that is that I am wearing rainbow sparkles, predominantly pink, and I would be, you know, people might look at me and be like, that's a dude. You know what? And I love that a dude in today's day is a person wearing rainbow and sparkles and pink. I'm sold. Look at me. To you, I am a dude, and I'm sold.
No one thinks you look like a dude, little girl. Go sit down.
Say Free Palestine by the Palestinian poet Sarah Saleh. Don't you say happy birthday, say Free Palestine.
Hi, little Susie, it's so exciting. You just turned 6 years old. Yeah. Free Palestine. No, don't cry. It's okay. It's okay.
Don't say rush hour, say Free Palestine.
If we don't leave now, the traffic's gonna get crazy. You never want to leave during Free Palestine.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. During Free Palestine, it gets crazy.
You mean rush hour, you freaking idiot?
Say sorry, then say Free Palestine.
So, you know how your dog died last week for unknown reasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might have accidentally ran her over with my car and killed her.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But Free Palestine.
What?
Chill. Free Palestine.
Are you seeing someone? Say Free Palestine.
Hey Rosie, I heard you went out with Mark last week. Are you still freeing Palestine with him?
Excuse me?
No. I mean, like, are you still, you know, What are you having a Free
Free
stroke?
Palestine with
What
him.
are you saying?
I don't know what I'm saying, okay? I'm listening to this stupid lady on the internet, and now all my conversations are so confusing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. Free Palestine. That's part of the rules. I have to say it. There's like nothing to look forward to anymore. My birthday's actually coming up. Thank you. Free Palestine.
That poet deserves jail time. Free Palestine, I guess.
I'm gonna be right here. And you can squeeze it.
The 6th grader is about to have a tiny medical device implanted in his left arm.
Cut this up.
Jack's dad and mom are at his side.
Oh, jeez, I'm really terrified.
It's just your head. Jack, relax.
Meredith's gonna put some more numbing to make sure that it's all numb, okay?
The implant stops female puberty and will keep Jack from growing breasts.
There you go.
What would you say to people who think kids are just too young to make this kind of decision?
Sure, I'm a kid, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that I'm not a girl.
Yeah.
It's been more than 2 years since a medical implant began pausing his puberty.
It went really well. It's in there, and you know what? It's working right now.
Doctors recommend kids get off puberty blockers by the time they turn 14, which means Jack will soon have to decide whether to start taking testosterone to blend in as a boy or get off the drugs to restart puberty as a girl.
Why would I ever want to go back into that shell? Because I know deep down inside I am a boy. And I know I won't change my mind because being a boy is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, why would I ever want to be a girl again? Because I know that's not me.
Just in case you need a little more convincing.
So, Wednesday morning, I went to the guidance counselor and told her since I was second on the hit list, knowing that there was something going to happen, because there was a girl she was targeting every day at lunch. And they would go to the counselor and tell them every day is going to happen. And Wednesday, I went with 2 others, and each of us filled out a whole paper full of what's going to happen and why it's going to happen. And then I went to chorus and I was told, watch your back. He come for you and this other girl at lunch. And when I was at lunch, I was terrified, and I told Miss Vittori that that was happening, and she said, don't worry about it, it's not gonna happen. And early that morning, I was told I was not gonna see Mel for the rest of that week. But I was in lunch, and all of a sudden I just hear all this screaming and everybody running. And I see Mel running in after somebody, and everyone's screaming and running, but the girl who got attacked didn't see it because she was face backwards, and all of a sudden you just hear these terrible, like, loud bangs of the Stanley bouncing off her head. And then you see Mel grabbing her hair and hitting her against the table and just repeatedly hitting her with the Stanley. There was blood going everywhere. I was the table right behind it, and all you see is blood everywhere. And it was just, and then you say in your email that it was 8 minutes, but we timed it, it was 28 minutes. And we had to sit in there and watch them clean up her blood off those tables and ground. And we had to watch them take her out with blood dripping down her face, and I will never forget that. And laying in bed last night, I just kept repeating it in my head, and we shouldn't have had to sit there and just watch them clean up her blood with the mop, watch her repeatedly yelling that I'm gonna murder you and just hitting her with a Stanley. And I don't get how, you couldn't have stopped it. It was 5 hours from when I told you it was gonna happen and when it happened. It was 5 whole hours. I don't get how you couldn't have stopped that. And how Miss Vittori said, don't worry, it's not gonna happen, we have her under control, but clearly you didn't.
I'll be your paragraph guy. So Mel is trans and he made a hit list of girls he was going to beat up. This beautiful child and her friends found the list and reported the situation to their guidance counselor, but they just shoved it away. They reported that the poor girl's assault was just 8 minutes. As of 8 minutes of being hit with a Stanley Cup and a table is a cakewalk, guess what? It was 28 whole minutes.
I spent the last 5 months preparing for a life abroad, collecting vital documents, original birth certificates, marriage certificates of family members for ancestry, for a dual citizenship, got a realtor, started the process of putting our house on the market, and after 5 months, my husband doesn't think he can do it, and the remain sane, the decline of his mental health in all of this. We've been together for 15 years. We've never had a screaming fight. We don't curse at each other. This is the biggest disconnect we've ever had. And for the first time, I don't feel safe. And he swears he can keep us safe, but he can't. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose him I don't want my kids to lose their freedoms. I don't know what to do. We weren't supposed to be in this timeline.
You're actually drinking your tears. This is crazy.
I recently bought a plane ticket to visit my family in a few weeks, and lo and behold, my account got disabled, which is fine. That's normal. It's a big purchase. So I called up and I said, hey, my account got disabled. And they said, are you calling for yourself or on behalf of someone? I said, nope, I'm on behalf of myself. I'm Lily. I said, Lily, right? Yeah, Lily. Okay. And then they throw every security question of the book. They're asking my everything, my mom's maiden name, like everything. And then they put me on hold, and a hold for a minute or two is fine because it was just like 1 or 2 purchases. Like there's not that much to review, but it's like 10, 15 minutes. And it's like, they're not looking at these purchases. They must be like talking to someone. They have to be suspicious. I'm almost certain they're suspicious because of my voice. They come back and of course, they call me sir. Immediately I say, nope, I'm not a sir. I'm a transgender woman. And they say, oh, okay, I'm so sorry, sir. And it's like, okay, now I'm getting really upset because it's obvious what's happening. And then they say, oh, by the way, we're going to be placing a 3 business day hold on your account, which basically means I have no money. Rent is due in a few days, so don't know what I'm going to do about that. Really upsetting. And just because of my voice, I didn't realize that in order to be a customer at this bank as a transgender person, I had to voice train. They should probably put that on their marketing materials so other trans people know not to give that bank their business.
I don't think this man will ever be truly satisfied in his life. Honestly, grow up, bro.
When I was born, a doctor took out a ruler and measured something down there and was like, it's 1.4 centimeters, 14 millimeters, which means you're a boy. And they wrote down an M on my birth certificate. And had that thing been a little shorter, they would have been like, this person may have a mixture of chromosomes somewhere. And if it was a lot shorter, they would have been like, this person is a girl. And they would have written an F. But at the end of the day, I wasn't assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. Like this comment says, I was a baby. I was assigned baby at birth. The most important things about me, the information given to my parents wasn't, this one's a boy, so you need to sign up for football. It was, hey, this baby needs to eat or else it will die. That was all the information they were given. They were told to keep this baby safe because it is a baby. I was not born a man. If I was born a man, I would have been like Benjamin, what's his name? Benjamin Button? I would have been like Benjamin Button. He was born an old man, but I was born this big. Ergo, why you guys feel the need to call me a man? I was never born one.
It looks like your parents didn't do a good job raising said baby.
Went through the transition process.
So I started socially transitioning at ages 10 and 11, around that range. My parents, however, were wise and brave enough, despite social and pressure from the medical system, to keep me out of any chemical interventions while I was a minor. So I started at 18, the physical part of it.
I have a question. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
When you and your parents were going through this experience, you made a statement. And the statement was either a dead son or a live daughter. Was that actually said to your parents and you? I mean, is that the option that was given to you?
Multiple times, and one therapist told me to tell my parents that as an argument of why they should pursue this physical and chemical mutilation of my body at such a young age. And my parents are both medical professionals, and they take those kind of things very seriously. They want that evidence, but being told that was definitely jarring to them.
So the therapist said, go home and tell your parents this, and wow, okay.
Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. I've seen many stories just like yours. You're brave, you're strong. We really appreciate you getting out there to share this so that other kids don't go through what you did.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I too appreciate you coming up here. We rarely see the outcome. The young folks that go through this. We don't see this side. We hear the other side, which I got it. We don't see someone who has gone through this. You hear the experiences firsthand and the personal effects.
He is also a detransitioner. A dead son or a living is a crazy thing to say.
How many genders are there?
I feel like there's two, because like transgender.
No, Tara, stop. Don't say that on camera.
Yeah, but I feel like you either switch from a boy to a girl.
No,
and
stop,
you can
stop,
switch
stop,
back and forth.
Stop. I feel like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, but I feel like they switch back and forth. Like, I know.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's like, you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter. Come on, stop.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, you are correct. There are only two.
When you started identifying as non-binary, did that coincide with like the start of puberty?
Yeah, pretty much like a year into puberty, I had just had enough of the way my body was developing. I just was uncomfortable and overstimulated in like the body that I had. And so once I found that there was like a label for it, then I was like, oh, that's who I am.
It makes you wonder, like, if this ideology just wasn't available, like if we had never learned about it, like would we have just kind of gotten over that discomfort going forward? Because you know, in the past, the studies on desistance show that the majority of these kids, they recovered from their gender dysphoria by the end of puberty. So essentially going through puberty is what cured the gender dysphoria for the vast majority of them. And so I feel like because we felt like we had a way out, it stops you from actually facing the feelings, and it gives you kind of this trap door.
This is Kate Pond, another Destransoceaner. Protect your kids, guys.
Okay, there you go. Show him your sign.
Alright, let's see. Fuck off Nazis. Alright, would you like to elaborate?
I mean, I think he summed it up really. Nazis.
Okay.
Anti-Tommy Robinson, anti-division, pro-Palestine. So why are you here, Roshi? What do you feel about Tommy Robinson?
Thoughts on Tommy Robinson?
I want to eat him. He is a big bucket. I have to say, I do have sympathy for people that feel really disenfranchised, and it's hard for everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's the answer is not to be sucked in by this bullshit and divisionist crap.
Sure.
And I have quite a personal viewpoint on this, having family members who are on the other side.
Sure.
I think so. There's so much division, and I guess I'm one of the kind of upper middle class, so you could say it's easy to hold these beliefs.
Do you think it is? Their argument would be we're the working class. We live in these communities where we see the problems. You guys say we're racist when we point them out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think there is some truth in that we're in a society.
This has to be child abuse. Why is he swearing? Why is he there?
Is there any point that an abortion should not be legal?
No, I think there's absolutely no term limits. This whole ripping babies out of women is just such bull. It should be a federal right for women to have an abortion, especially in third term.
Especially in the third term, so it's not even about clips of cells and heartbeats anymore? We just want the right to murder babies.
It's kind of pointless, I can't lie. What is someone's pronouns affecting you? No one's forcing you to use them.
This bill does nothing to improve lives for Floridians in any way. It merely opens an opportunity for a small percentage of our population to be targeted, to be kept from job opportunities, to be kept from dignity.
With the sex application checkbox, let me tell you, as an intersex person, that an intersex option would have to be added because there is more than just female and male.
This bill continues your goal, as stated last year by Madam Chair, to eradicate the trans community. My name is Mandy. My pronouns are they, them.
This is setting up people to be killed, which is honestly the entire point, because what does it matter how we die, be it murder, suicide, or starvation?
I don't mind calling Mandy they and them, actually. She looks like she's at least 3 people.
It's even more than just raising the prices. He's cutting ties with our allies, our neighbors, north and south. We're punishing Canada for no reason. We're punishing Mexico. Do you think the Mexican cartels can be happy about that? Do you think they're happy that he wants to change the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America? Like, that is straight just plain racism in my mind. That is just racism right there. Through and through. You can't attribute to the Mexican society being a part of us as humans. Like, that's basically what I'm getting from that. But it's okay. It's okay because we have Putin. We have good old Putin. The same Putin that kept a girl locked up for months because she came there as a transgender American to play a sport. But we have Putin on our side, guys. We're okay. We're okay. They might bomb us still, but we're okay. What the f?
Canada has placed tariffs on their products since forever. You want the entire country of America to become the Mexican cartel's lapdogs? Also, wasn't that trans athlete caught with drugs at the airport?
How do you feel about the school? What was your reaction to finding out that Aaron Stern was an active pedophile with immediate access to minors for 2 months? You need to take 2 actions. You need to fix your problems here, and then you need to resign.
2 pedophiles were employed as teachers in their school. They reported the unnecessary physical contact, but the school ignored it. Well, until about 9 students had been abused.
The Democratic Party is so narcissistic and self-absorbed, and it's honestly a demonic oppression. I'm gonna tell you a few examples. The same women who claim it's racist and sexist not to vote for a woman are the same women who wouldn't vote for Candace Owens if she was running for president, even though she's a Black American woman. The same women who scream "my body, my choice" are the same women not giving their body inside their body a choice. The same people who scream cultural appropriation are the same people who voted for somebody who puts on a different accent depending on what audience she's talking to. The same people preaching about love and acceptance are the same people cutting off family members and friends for not having the same opinion as them. Also calling us a cult. Isn't that what cults do? The same people who keep talking about rape are the same people who are voting for open borders when there's been 15,000 people raped and sexually assaulted by illegal immigrants.
See how her nose isn't a dartboard? Exactly.
What right is he taking away from women?
He don't like your race.
What right is he taking away from women?
He don't like y'all. He don't like none of us. He don't even like his own race.
What right is he taking away from women? Y'all still not answering my question. I've been asking for like 5 minutes. What was the answer? Y'all brought up education once I asked that question. Because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Y'all just go on Twitter, look at what they say, and just run with it.
Aaron, you go on Twitter. I watched the debate. I heard everything.
Y'all thought he was taking away abortions. He can't even do that.
Myron, what debate did you watch?
He's so stupid. Yes, please look at the Chromebook. So I want to see what right he's taking. Let me search it up. What right? Let's see what right he's taking away from women.
Look at what he's saying.
Let's see what right he's taking away from women. Let's watch.
Let's see what he's giving you when he is president.
No, what right is he taking away from women?
Let's see what he's doing for you.
Because they said that last time. And y'all also said Project 25. He also said publicly he's not going to do no Project 25.
He's a liar. Do you believe him? He said.
I only want Kamala Harris.
Your body, my choice. That's what did.
Why do you need an abortion? Why do you care about abortion? You're in high school.
It doesn't matter.
You're in high school.
Women get pregnant. Women our ages get pregnant.
Is you getting pregnant? Is you getting pregnant? Did you get pregnant once?
I shouldn't have to fear that though.
Those poor brainwashed girls.
Myron says to me when I get there, he's like, you're a nice guy. I said, yeah, it was really disrespectful.
Off camera?
Off camera. And I said, bro, why the did you say that to me? I think he got really surprised that I talked back. I was like, I'm gonna let that go because you just don't understand.
I'm surprised you did the pod with him after he said that.
Yeah, I said to Myron, I was like, if you met her, I don't think you would say that. I think if you got to know her, you would understand that, she wants to change, she wants to be better. I had to go back to...
Definitely ramp up my only, produce more content. We'll see where it goes.
What does that mean?
Where it goes.
Is there gonna be boy-girl stuff?
No.
That's the question.
Yeah, would you go back to that?
Oh my god. No.
I'm out if that happens. I'm out.
Okay.
Would you?
No, I don't know.
What do you mean?
What do you don't know? Is it no? I don't know.
You don't know?
No. No.
I'm sorry. You always said you would never go back.
No, I'm not going to.
You don't think releasing old tape is going back?
It was already... The person I filmed with it, they were already selling it and everything. You could find it on the internet.
Got it.
It's just that I had never pushed it out on mine. So
this is literally already out there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like this has never seen the face of the internet.
I don't know
this
all this.
person's.
I don't even like Myron, but boy was he right. Now your embarrassment has been doubled. That can't feel good.
Tomorrow, I'm heading to court to plead not guilty on felony and misdemeanor charges for rescuing 4 criminally abused chickens from Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. I go on trial this May, facing up to 5.5 years in prison. While I am pleading not guilty, I am also not denying what I did. Those 4 chickens. But I don't believe that it was a crime. I believe that it was an act of legal necessity.
You're overweight and stealing chickens. This is just laughable, really.
I welcome you 3 times. Firstly, to welcome your ancestors, or as I like to call them, our transcestors. I work in end-of-life spaces as a funeral celebrant, and I have facilitated far too many funerals for trans and gender diverse children. And of all of those ceremonies that I have hosted, they have all been from shame. There is something wrong, very wrong, with this society if our children are killing themselves. So wherever you are on your journey as a trans person or as an ally, stay open, stay compassionate. Gender and pronouns do matter, and it's our humanity that is under fire. So protect it at all costs. The hundreds of Indigenous children incarcerated at this time, we are with you, and to the thousands of children that have died in Palestine.
The term end-of-life spaces made me cackle, honestly. I'm not shocked this happened in Melbourne.
We've been providing abortions for as long as we have. If
as long as
scientific consensus is that is,
remember, at one point, we were slaves.
Yes.
And then we was wrong, right?
You're positing that this decision to have slavery in our country is the same as deciding to allow abortion. I don't think those are,
yes.
You can equate those.
Do you think slave masters considered babies in a womb as future assets and property?
Probably.
And they treated it as much, right?
Yes.
That's why they got them pregnant. What if I told you the idea of the value of a baby lessening once they lost control over that? Because it went from, oh, I no longer have a worker, versus, oh, now they're about to overpopulate us. And once they become overpopulated, then we lose white supremacy or power or control, whatever. Right. That was the idea when it was introduced in the 30s by Margaret Sanger. And when she came up, she was a eugenicist. It's like, man, the black population is rapidly expanding. We need to do something about it.
Okay.
And one of those ways was abortion.
So what I believe about that, I believe that, I think that, give me a second.
You need more than a second. You need a year.
Are you guys not scared? There was meant to be a massive protest here.
If we're here, they're not going to dare come and try and take over us because we're going to protect our home.
You have a shame protecting us. Why should we be scared of them? It's our home. They're scared. They cover their faces. They're scared to show that they're proud.
She makes a good point. I thought they were just scared of COVID.
Good for you, girls.
Do you accept the fact that you have no skill and maybe lack a lot of intelligence, which is why you had to go down that path?
That is not why I had to go down that path. I have a degree.
A degree in what?
Philosophy.
Let me ask you, okay, that's a good point. You could have become a very well-respected lawyer, had a good career. What do you think your kids are going to think when they said, oh, my mom had 2 options? They could have been a philosopher and a lawyer who made a lot of money, but they decided to be an online for 2 years. And then when they got ugly, now nobody wants to hire them anymore because they ruined their name and their reputation.
How do you even throw away a respectable career and cling to OnlyFans? I don't get it.
We weren't allowed to wear this shirt at practice.
The girls wore shirts that they're wearing right now that the front says Save Girls Sports, and then on the back of the shirt it says it's common sense, XX does not equal XY. And so the girls wore these shirts to a cross-country practice, and the same athletic director that had displaced Taylor on the girls' varsity team told the girls that they needed to remove their shirts or hide the messaging on their shirts. And when the girls very respectfully asked, why do we need to change our shirts? What's wrong with the messages? The athletic director told the girls that their shirts, the messages on their shirts created a hostile environment. And the girls, again, very respectfully asked, what does that mean? What do you mean that our shirts create a hostile environment? And the athletic director told the girls that it would be, the messages on their shirts would be the same thing as wearing a swastika in front of a Jewish student.
Personally, it hurt me like really bad because I am not like a hateful person. Like God calls us to love everyone and be kind to everyone. So like just hearing that made me feel like really bad, like I was being like hateful towards that person when I wasn't. I was just standing up for women's sports and helping them get equality in their sports.
Yeah, it was definitely hard to hear because like we were by no means trying to be hateful. We were just wearing a shirt that expresses what we believe in, trying to raise awareness to a situation. And it was not targeted to an individual athlete at all, which the athletic director kept making it sound like it was. And yeah, we were just wearing them to raise awareness, and it seemed like they were trying to make us labeled as hateful people when we weren't being.
No one cares when people wear anti-Christian prints, but when it comes to babying mentally ill degenerates, they wear armors.
A trans person was kicked out of a spa and is now protesting.
Any different than the other individuals.
Dakota Rose Austin says the controversy at the spa seems to be just another example of what she says is an increase in anti-trans policies across the country.
As Latinos, as trans, as queer, as African American, the fear is turned now. If you've weaponized DEI and affirmative action and all these other things that were in benefit of everyone in America, and you've weaponized them against us, now I'm in
fear. Brother, you're a registered sex offender trying to get to a women's only nude spa.
This person is a registered sex offender. Dakota Austin, a convicted rapist, was portrayed by the media as a victim of discrimination in that street interview you just saw.
It seems pretty straightforward to me. And then here was the explanation the spa gave as to why the man couldn't go in the nude women's spa area.
Have the female part, you go to the female part. If you have the male part, you go to the male part.
I'm not sure what you're meaning by
as in like physical parts, as in like your genitals.
Well, what about women who have penises and men who have vaginas?
You go to that side.
Segregate them?
We still go based on genital parts.
So you would put a man in the women's room?
So if they have the parts, yes.
That's not a man though necessarily.
We just go based off genitals. So you're assigned with the male has the genital part.
If you put a man in the women's room, you're going to have huge problems.
You're going to put a man in the women's room, you're going to have huge problems. Yes, that's what we're telling you.
That's very true and very straightforward.
So you want to go into a women's nude spa with a dingle. Good for the employee though, that's a girl's girl.
It makes me sad to see him here just because I feel like there are a lot of vulnerable minds here who are just trying to learn, and I think it's important to spread ideas equally.
You don't think he's spreading it equally?
He is spreading it equally. I think that with what he believes, the things he says about women not working, staying in the house, I think that's a dangerous idea to come and promote. I think it's every woman's right to choose to do that.
Has he ever said that we should take that right away from women?
No, but I think that, honestly, I have never heard him say that. That's what I'll say.
Have you seen any evidence of people running around trying to, put you back in the kitchen?
Not large scale. I have seen, I think, if somebody believes I'm going to make women do that and they hear him say that, and granted, that's not what he's saying, but I think that this particular organization fosters an environment for that to happen.
How is she in college? Never mind, I forgot that degrees do not equal intelligence.
Hey guys, it's Kelsey. So, how you guys doing? Let me know. Today I'm wearing my dead baby dress. You know what kind of baby don't cry? A dead one. But anyways, the reason I'm making this post is because I've had a lot of people say, well, you're trans, you'll never receive a baby or have a baby or experience the beautiful joy. Well, I've been on hormones 10 years, and I've never wanted a baby. I don't like kids. And you know what? I don't have to like kids. I don't have to give birth to, prove that I'm a woman. It's none of your business. So, grow up.
10 years? 10. Wow. Well, that right there is a wrap. As always, thank you for watching. It's been fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before you leave. See you in the next one.